Hi beauty, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ida Lucy and I'm a holistic sexuality educator, and in this video I'll be sharing the top 3 mistakes that women make in bed. Now the inspiration behind this video came because I'm currently working on a course for women all about understanding male sexuality and how to become the best lover he's ever had. And as part of that process, I've been doing research and I've been interviewing men to really understand what it is that really turns them on, what really works for them, what doesn't work for them, what are the things that they wish women understood about their sexuality. And it's been very, very insightful. And men have also shared a lot of the things that really turn them off and really don't work. And in this video, I wanted to address the most common ones I'm hearing because chances are you might be guilty of one, if not more of them. And even if it's not something you're doing all the time, I think most women have done one of those at some point or another. So with that being said, let's dive straight into the video. So the first mistake women make in the bedroom is putting on a performance. And this is really interesting because I think a lot of women do it because they assume that it is what men want. So this is where you start to kind of go into the porn star performance. So you kind of put on this mask and you do all the things that you just assume are sexy to him without really being embodied in the moment or feeling it. And it's really interesting because I think a lot of women do this because they think it's what turns men on, because men are generally more visual. But from all the men I've spoken to, they've said that that's actually a huge turn off. They say that one of the biggest turn ons is when they can see a woman is actually really enjoying herself and basking in her sexuality. That's incredibly sexy. But when they can feel that it's fake, that you're just pretending to be really into it or pretending to be in a lot of pleasure, it actually really does the opposite and turns them off completely. There's something really sexy for a man to feel that you're receptive to him, that you're feeling pleasure, and that you feel really open and safe enough to share that pleasure with him. The second he feels that you're putting on a performance, it usually makes him feel less interested and more disconnected from you. And here goes a layer deeper than that. I think that women not only perform or put on a performance during sex because they think it's what the man wants, but it's actually out of insecurity, because it takes a lot of vulnerability and a lot of self-confidence to actually allow yourself to remove all of these masks and just to be naked and vulnerable and yourself, to allow yourself to go in your body, to feel this pleasure and to express it shamelessly. That is a lot more vulnerable than just putting on a mask and putting on a show, because it kind of creates more distance between us and the other person. And especially as women, we tend to hold a lot of shame or insecurities in relationship to our sexuality, so it can feel safer to kind of go into this performance mode instead of actually being there fully and allowing ourselves to be seen and to be real. So this is where you as a woman get to do your own inner work. If you notice that you always go into performance mode, try to make it a practice to bring yourself back into the present moment and just focus on what actually feels good. So instead of just fake moaning or just going through repetitive motions in a hand job or blow job, actually focus on what feels good to you. In what way do you want to feel him inside of your mouth? In what way do you want to feel him inside of your hand? What actually feels good? In what way do you move your body that opens you? And actually do more of that instead of just being in positions that you think look sexy, but actually you're highly uncomfortable. So that is the first mistake. The second mistake women make is never initiating sex. I've heard this from a lot of men, and it's a pretty big frustration amongst many men. And I totally understand. Men love to initiate sex and they like to be the ones taking the charge and taking the lead. But it's really nice when once in a while the woman initiates sex. Again, it shows him that you're a sexual being, that you don't just have sex to please him, but that you have sex because you want to have sex and because you're horny and because it turns you on. It's incredibly sexy for a man to feel that a woman is in touch with her sexual self. And initiating sex as a woman is a way to show that, is a way to show that, hey, not only he is thinking about wanting to make love with you, you also think about wanting to make love with him. So of course, depending on your dynamic, it doesn't need to be that you're always initiating sex, but if you've noticed that you never ever initiate sex and you always wait for your partner to make the first move, switch it up once in a while and surprise him. Send him a super naughty text message, or wait for him at home with lingerie and show him that you desire him. And the third mistake is just expecting him to do everything and you just to lie there. Now, sex is a dance and it's a co-creation. And I think in our culture, there's kind of this notion that the men should just do all the work and, we just get to receive. And definitely, as if you're more identifying with a feminine essence and you're more in the feminine pole, you tend to be more receptive, and the masculine pole tends to be more emissive. However, sex is always a dance and men want to feel you. So even if your favorite position is missionary, there's a way to be a missionary where you're just really letting him do all the work. And there's a way to be a missionary where you're still really responsive, where, you show that you're enjoying the thrusting, where maybe you move your hips, maybe you do some pussy milking. I have a whole video on that. I'll link it below. But actively participating. And here, I would even go a step further and say that if you're always more in a passive role, in a passive position, switch it up from time to time and get on top. Do something surprising. Also, switching up routine is incredibly sexy. And many men have told me that they find it really sexy when a woman is actively participating, when it feels like we are both here trying to create the most epic sexual experience for both of us. So it doesn't feel like it's just on one person's shoulders or one person's responsibility. So be an active participant. And even if you're more into being more submissive, maybe that's even something that you and your partner like, for him to be more dominant and for you to be more submissive. In that submission, there is still an element of active participation, right? We can just kind of like passively receive, or we can actively receive and respond with our pleasure and with our openness. And then again, it feels like it's a dance. It feels like there's energy flowing from both directions. So those are the top 3 mistakes that women make in the bedroom that I've heard from men and how to avoid them. And if you like this video and you would learn more about male sexuality and how it works and what really turns men on, I have something for you. I'm currently working on a new course all about how to pleasure men. And as I said, as part of it, I'm actually interviewing a lot of men. I'm really hearing firsthand what works for them, what doesn't work for them, what they wish women knew, and I'm going to be sharing all of that information unfiltered with you in this new course. So you can just check the link in my description below and add yourself to the waiting list, because the course is going to be opening its doors soon, or depending on when you're watching this, the course actually might already be open. So either way, check the link below, either to add yourself to the waiting list or to go straight to the course page, and I hope to see you inside.